I don't feel like I know a lot about this Duke team, at least at this moment. Obviously, by Saturday at 6:30, we'll know some more. But they've had a good year. They're 16-4. They're 7-2 in second place right now in the ACC. They lost to Arizona early on. That's when Caleb had such a big game in Cameron on a very early game. Beat Michigan State, who seems to be okay, not great this year. Lost at Arkansas and at Georgia Tech early in like late November, early December. And since then, they've been pretty good. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think, if I counted right, 11-1 in their last 12 games. Their loss was that close loss to Pitt at home, and Pittsburgh's playing better. They just beat somebody. Wake in Pittsburgh. So it's a good team. They're probably from top to bottom and the most talented team. That's what Duke does. They stockpile all this talent and then figure it out. They are maybe a little less freshman dominated than they have been at times over the last 15 years or so because, I mean, their 4 leading scorers, or 4 of their 5 are guys you know. Filipowski, Roach, Mark Mitchell, Tyrese Proctor. I think Proctor's really, really good. He's battled some injuries this year, but he's healthy now, and he's, in my opinion, one of the better players in the league. And then they have some freshmen. Caleb Foster, highly recruited. I don't know a ton about him. A guard is a good player. Jared McCain, who's a very good three-point shooter. And Adam, they shoot a ton of threes. I mean, they've shot 432 three-pointers, and they shoot 39% as a team. And we've both seen them, I'm guessing, at times this year. They get on rolls like other teams can't. They had a game, Syracuse, I think, where they were 7 of 7 or maybe 8 of 8 in a half from 3. They had that game at Pitt where they were just lights out from three-point range and just absolutely knocked Pitt out before it even had a chance really to get in the game. So if you're Carolina, clearly you cannot allow them to get into a rhythm from the perimeter. And then you got to figure out how to handle Filipowski because he's one of the best players in the country. Is that a Bacot matchup? Is that a Ingram matchup? Do you rotate guys on him? He's a very diverse player who can score in a lot of different ways. So he's a challenge for anybody. So they're good. I mean, I think these are the best 2 teams in the league, and it'll be a big-time matchup.
Yeah, on paper, these are pretty clearly the 2 best teams in the conference. And I think in most categories, Duke is really good at most things, and Carolina's been just a little tiny bit better other than shooting.
Yeah.
Which I think concerns you, but something Carolina's done pretty well all year is defend the three-point shot. You're going to have to do that even better against them. And then I think also
by the way, sorry to cut you off. Carolina shot more threes than Duke has. That stuns me. I hadn't looked at that. Just from seeing them, I assume Duke shot more, but that's not the case. Carolina's actually shot more.
Not as successfully,
but not as successfully, yes. Okay, sorry, I cut you
off. I think one side or the other is probably going to get some unexpectedly good production from the bench, and that needs to be the Tar Heels. Like, you can't let Ryan Young come in and get 3 offensive rebounds that turns into 2 3-pointers or something, because in a game that's probably going to be close, those are decisive points. And so the Tar Heels need Jalen Washington to be the same guy he was the other night. They need Jalen Withers to be good Jalen Withers and aggressive and athletic and getting offensive rebounds and finding teammates after he does that. Seth Trimble, you're going to need to play good defense. You're going to need Paxton Wojcik to probably come in and draw charge or do something. Like, you're going to need production up and down the lineup because Duke's good, and it's going to be a close game. There's going to be times where you have to put, for example, Harrison Ingram on the bench or R.J. Davis on the bench for just a minute or 2, and you can't let them go on a 7-1 run while that's happening because that might be a decisive 7-1 run. Got to keep them off the offensive glass. That's something they've done really well in conference. Carolina's done it a little better. So I think that's an area where both teams are strong, and whoever gets the better of it, that's going to be important.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least statistically, Carolina is the better rebounding team. And again, this is my opinion from afar from Duke. It seems like when Duke is interested and engaged, they're really good. But they've had some times where they haven't been as interested and engaged. And again, that is totally my opinion. I don't know that. but you know that they will be interested, engaged on Saturday.
And the glass can't be just the Harrison Ingram show.
Right, yeah. Well, Armando Bacot has 19 points in the last 3 games, which is fine in and of itself, but he's got to – if he's not going to score a lot, which is okay, he's still got to be interested and engaged in other areas of the game. And, I mean, Hubert Davis set Armando Bacot down for a long time at the beginning of that second half of the Georgia Tech game and was very visibly frustrated with some things that had happened on the court. And so if Carolina plays like it did on Tuesday night on Saturday, it will lose this game by 15 points. So it's got to be better than that.
Well, it's one thing not to make shots. Even if Armando Bacot's not making shots, he has to be a threat. Duke has to be worried that the Tar Heels are going to throw him the ball on the block and he's going to do something. That has to be a threat. That's got to be a part of the offense to make the rest of the offense work.
I thought Duke was impressive. I mean, I think a lot of people saw that Clemson game, and Clemson probably should have won that game. They were up 4 with 90 seconds left or something and found a way to lose it. But then I was impressed by how Duke turned around and really controlled the game against a solid Virginia Tech team in Blacksburg, which is a hard place to play. They were juiced up, and Duke just never let them get in it. They didn't blow them out. I mean, they won by 10, but Virginia Tech was never – it was always like 8 to 12 points, and they could never really threaten them. I just thought that was an impressive win for them. So they're coming off an impressive performance in a tricky Saturday to Monday turnaround.
I thought that was the equivalent of Carolina's win at Florida State.
Yeah.
Both better than what outsiders might think in a tough place to play against a team that really needed to win, and they did what they had to do. That was a good win.
Adam, anything else? Carolina Duke coming up. Of course, game days in Chapel Hill. Come check that out on Saturday morning. Preview the matchup with the Blue Devils, of course, with ES. Who's on game day now, Adam?
I don't know. Lee Corso.
Reese Davis. I think Reese Davis is still there. Jay Williams.
Seth Greenberg.
Jay Billis.
Randy Wheel.
Randy Wheel. What are you doing up there?
Tip-off club an hour early.
Woo!
3:30.
I have a feeling the tip-off club's going to be hype.
I think it's going to be lit.
I know I said this on Tuesday. I love the fact that it's staying open for the whole game.
Yeah, remember you can watch the game at the tip-off club even if you don't have to have a game ticket. And there's not an admission charge to the tip-off club. There's not a velvet rope with a bouncer.
No. That's
because
only
Jones isn't free.
Yeah, that's only the clubs Adam goes to.
Right. Yeah.
Where he just gets shuffled to the front of the line and they're like, oh, Mr. Lucas, yes, of course. We'll send you to your special room.
Yeah. Right. So drinks, food, games on a big screen.
Merriment.
Fellow Tar Heels. There should be a no Duke fan rule at the tip-off club. But I guess it's open to everyone.
Yeah. Just start pushing them.
The prices should be double.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry, sir. You look like you started moving rhythmically when you thought of Cascada.
Yeah, that's right. That should be the test. Like if you can't tell if they're not wearing a target, just hold it. Whoever's like selling the concession stuff at the tip-off club, just have Cascada ready and play it on your phone and just stare at the person and see what their reaction is.
Yeah.
And if they get hype, if they start like doing this or clapping, be like, I'm sorry, that'll be $45 for that bag of peanuts. But if they're like, oh boy, or if they start laughing and they're like, I remember that time at the press conference, and you're like, you sir get 2 for $1 Modelo's. That's an unofficial deal. Don't take that and
don't tell them you want the Jones.
Jones sent me 2 for $1. So 6:30, we're on the air at 5:30. Tyler Zettler is the analyst for this one. Looking forward to being with Z again on Saturday evening.